Welcome everybody to a very short and relatively last-minute edition of ESC Fan TV. I'm your host as always, Stuart Wilders, and I'm joined today by three guests, our Aussie correspondent all the way from sunny Sydney, Australia. We say good day to Mitchell James of MJT Global.
Hi Stuart, hi everyone.
All bound for Momoland, it's our mid-tempo loving maniac, Tom Hughes.
Hey everyone.
And finally, again, representing the girls, probably Jessica Malboy's favourite fan in the UK, we have Joanne Powell.
Hello, hi.
And in case you missed it, a week ago, the four of us plus other guests got together for our Christmas edition. Let's say this is a bit last minute. You can find that available on YouTube, iTunes and Spotify. And we covered the first four acts for Australia, for Eurovision Australia Decides. And we know there's 10 artists that are to be announced. Today we have another 3, and Eurovision Australia Decides takes place in February 2019. We now know a further 3. We've got another 3 acts yet to be announced. Those 3 announced in the last 24 hours are Ayden, Calafiore, Leea, Nanos, and the incredibly well-known Courtney act. Before we get into it, though, just remind you that if you're listening to this show on iTunes and Spotify, thank you for doing so. Thank you for listening to our podcast. If you're rewatching on YouTube or in the chat room, please tick that like button, click that like button, and also subscribe to our channel. Really appreciate your support, and we're here doing this for you, so really appreciate you doing that for us. So, Mitchell, we'll start with yourselves. What can you tell us about these 3 names that have been announced? Let's start with Ayden. What do we know about him?
So Ayden Calafiore, he's mostly currently well known for being on The Voice this year. He came 4th, and so he's probably less well known as the other artists, the 5 of the other artists anyway. So, but he's kind of been in the game anyway from the industry. He was on a show called Young Talent Time, a reboot of it, because the original Young Talent Time was in the 80s. It had people like Danny Minogue on it and Tina Arena, but they tried to do a reboot. It only lasted 1 year, but he was one of the kids on it. It's kind of like a Mickey Mouse Club show, and so he was on it when he was like 12 or something, and so now he's 18. He was on this show, and they've recruited him to be one of the contestants.
So that, I mean, they're pretty big names, Tina Arena and Danny Minogue.
Yeah.
I mean, very well known in the UK.
Yeah.
So we should expect big things of Ayden then.
Yeah, I mean, he's 18. So the problem I have is, I think a similar thing is Isaiah Firebrace. I'm not sure if, and he's a lot more experienced than Isaiah Firebrace, I must admit. He's been doing it from a very young age. But I think sometimes when you're kind of just beginning in the industry, for Australians anyway, Eurovision can kind of eat you up a little and spit you out. Like Isaiah was a little bit taken aback from the whole experience. I think 2 more years and he would have been perfect. So
it don't come easy, does it?
No, exactly. So yeah. But yeah, so that's Ayden. Then
so what type of music are we expect from Ayden? What kind of genre would we expect to see?
I'm thinking more pop, something kind of like Justin Bieber kind of thing, that kind of thing. Yeah. He kind of reminds me of, if you remember Belarus from Junior Eurovision this year, the Time song. That's the kind of song I think we'll get from him.
Joanne, coming to you. So that kind of genre, sort of the Bieber appeal, do you think that would go down well for Australia Decide, or Eurovision Australia Decides?
Yeah, it may do. I don't know, to be honest, because at the end, I think they need something more special than that. I did catch up with his audition for The Voice, then he sang Despacito, and he was good. He was really good. But I don't think, it'll, to be honest, it'll be a Swedifile. The last 2, Sweden last year and this year. So I just think it'll sort of just blend in. So unless it's something special, and then, and unless his voice just shines, then I can't really see him winning that.
Tom, I dare ask you this question about styles, but are you expecting a ballad, mid-tempo, or an up-tempo song from Ayden?
Do you know what? Having listened to what Mitchell said, do you know what I'm expecting? I'm expecting something that isn't necessarily Australia finding their own way. And I think that's the important thing. They've got to be seen to find their own kind of path, their own kind of song. Whereas if we're going down the, it's like Belarus during a Eurovision, then what we're essentially saying is that they're almost trying to, borrow more off of other styles than their own. And so I think, the tempo of the song's not going to matter. It's going to be the style of the song that actually has the real impact.
And Mitchell, do you think the fact he's been on The Voice Australia, do you think that's going to stand him in a good stead for Australia Eurovision Decides?
Sorry, there's a loud noise here. The Voice Australia, I don't know. He came fourth in The Voice Australia. I don't think the fans know him that well enough. I don't think there's enough fan base to vote him all the way through. Yeah, I'm not so sure. You're kind of relying on the teens a bit, and maybe the teens are going to go for someone like Shepherd, who has a really big fan base already in this. Yeah.
So I guess out of if you say the first four plus Ayden, he still wouldn't be one of the favourites. Is that fair to say?
At the moment, no. But you never know. You never know with the teen fans. You never know what'll happen. But yeah, at this stage, he's not kind of a favourite or anything. I feel like the two out of the three announced have been definitely absolutely no offense to them, and I understand why they would do it and everything. But I think they needed 2 spots to fill, and I think the production company have chosen these people to become spot fillers. But you never know; they could win.
And just pause there a second. I see there's people in the chat room. Those in the chat room, do ask us questions using the chat bar. We'll read your questions out live on air, and we'll try and answer them. So let's turn our attention now to the second candidate, Leea Nanos. Mitchell, what do we know about Leea?
Not that much, but she doesn't even have a Wikipedia page. So it's funny. Last week, I think I remember saying that the thing was that everyone was going to be a recording artist. I guess she's technically a recording artist. She has songs on iTunes, but they've established her as introducing Leea Nanos. She's also, there's a radio station here called Triple J, which is known. I don't know what the equivalent would be in the UK, but they kind of play like unearthed music. They like to say like that they found them, and so she has a bio on that, and it says that she's an R&B singer. I listened to her a little bit, and I think it's interesting that she says she's an R&B singer. I think she has a lot. She kind of brings off a Charlotte Church vibe for me at the moment, but she's young. She's 16 years old. And I think the way, once again, these production companies have found her and Ayden is that there's a show on ABC Me, which is our broadcaster that does Junior Eurovision. And they have like a singing show called The Floor Is Yours. And both of them have been on that show, which I think is produced by the production company. So I think that's how they found both of these. And she's really well. She's sorry, it's really loud out here. I'm going to move.
Do you know, I actually listened to a couple of her songs, and I don't get the R&B idea at all. I actually think she's quite similar to London Grammar, the lead singer of London Grammar, and there's a little bit of Adele to her as well. We listened to some of her songs, and she's got some real range to her. Joanne, does the idea of young 16-year-old sort of taking Eurovision by storm, does that work for you? Do you think that could be something to watch in Australia Eurovision Decides?
Yeah, I mean, the right singer, absolutely. It doesn't matter about their age, whether they're old or young. If they're a really great singer and it's a fab song, then yeah, it should win. Yeah, I mean, as far as she's concerned, I've listened to a couple of her tracks, and I do like the tone of her voice. Whether it will grab everyone, again, I still think that they need something really special, and it depends on the song, I think, for her, and the staging, I guess, on the night. But yeah, she's got a nice voice.
And Tom, It's probably likely to be a ballad or mid-tempo. Yeah, we've had some indifferent results for 16-year-olds over the years. I look back to Cyprus probably 10 years ago, and they delivered a 16-year-old singing a really beautiful ballad. I think Lisa Little, I think was her name, and fantastic result, came 5th for Cyprus. Yeah, what would you expect from Leea Nanos and given it's likely to be a ballad, do you think that could be the right sort of song for Australia to send?
I think in terms of the singer, that would probably be the right song for her. I mean, let's be wary of the fact that, if we take Asanda, for example, in the UK selection last year, 16 years old, very lively song, a singer with not the most experience in the world, and therefore couldn't actually cope with the demands of a more up-tempo song with everything that Eurovision encompasses these days. Whereas, the younger singers tend to do better with ballads because it actually shows off the one thing that they have got, the one thing that gets them selected in the first place, and that's their voice.
So Mitchell, back with yourself then. So last sort of point on Leea Nanos, do you expect her to be a contender based on what you're hearing?
She could be. I think maybe she might get the people that want to vote for kind of the fairy tale story. She may be one of the only unearthed people in the contest, so maybe people will back her. And yeah, she could do well. You never know. She could. We also have a jury and a televote. Maybe the jury will somehow favor her. I'm not sure. It'll be interesting. But it's all about the song, really, at the end of the day. If she's got a great song, maybe that'll really help her. And also, at the end of the day, this will give her exposure into the Australian industry, which I think is one of her main aims for this contest, unlike someone else that we may discuss soon.
Yeah, we're coming to her. Just pause for a second and just say welcome to those in the chat room. Big thank you to OGay Australia that have joined us in the chat room. Great to have you here. Don't forget, any questions you may have for the panel, please send them through on the chat room. We will get to them very shortly. So let's turn our attention to Courtney. Big in the UK. It's been massive news here. Mitchell, do you want to start us off? Tell us a little bit about how popular Courtney Act is in Australia.
Courtney Act has been around for so long. The first season of Australian Idol, she was on it, which is pretty progressive for us, it being the first season of Idol, and we had a drag act in the contest. She made it to the semi-final. She made to the wild card round. She was one seat away from making it into the final 12 part. But she really used that and had a huge career here. She's been just around for so long. She's also done the US. This year, she's really been really big in the UK. So she's actually bigger in the UK right now than here, I think. She was doing a musical here, Greece, the Arena Spectacular, and she got a call or something to do Celebrity Big Brother last minute, and she actually left the production to do that. And I think that was maybe the smartest thing she's ever done in her life, because it's just catapulted. She won that, so she's really big in the UK at the moment. She's got a Christmas Eve special, I think, which is just amazing. It would be amazing if I don't know if they'll have it on TV here, but I read about it. And she's touring all around Britain and Europe. So I think this is definitely a smart decision for her. She's not doing this to be known to expand her kind of caliber in Australia. She's doing it to go and be big in Europe, take over the rest of the continent. And I think, it's a great decision. If the Brits were in charge of voting, I think maybe she'd be a runaway winner for us in this way, and I think maybe we'd get 12 points. I don't know, but yeah.
I'm just going to take you back, Mitchell, to our show a week ago, and I said to you, do you think you're going to get any international artists?
Didn't even think it.
You said we won't be getting Kylie. Hey, you've got someone that looks like Kylie.
Yeah. funny.
But she is phenomenal. I mean, she is massive.
And the great thing I will say with drag acts are great, but I think it's really interesting when they do a song. Sometimes they have like a baritone voice, and it's just so ironic because, you know, the character is so feminine. One thing about Shane, who plays Courtney, is that Shane has such a high vocal range already. So actually, it sounds like Courtney is singing a woman's song, and it's such a strong high vocal range. It's really highly skilled. So I think Courtney will have if she sings a great song, it'll be in a high key, and I think it's just going to be completely wonderful.
Joanne, Courtney Act, what are your thoughts there? Yeah, we wanted someone like this that actually has massive international appeal. Surely she does, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Massive appeal. A friend of mine was just messaged me last night as soon as the news broke, saying, "Oh, I want to go to Australia now." And you know, she is great. I have to say, especially in the sense of the fact that she won Celeb Big Brother here, and you know she's huge over here now. Absolutely. I think, you know, it can only be good, and it can only be good for Eurovision that she's actually there. Song wise, a little bit different, you know. Had to have been a corker really to get her through, but you never know. You never know. She's a popular girl.
And Tom, do you think there's a story there to be told with Courtney Act? And is this the kind of story that catapults Australia from also rans or nearly misses to actual Eurovision winners?
In short, yes, there is a story there. Is it going to catapult them to Eurovision winners? No, because I don't think the story's strong enough, and I don't think the song is strong enough either. Certainly the one that I've heard today. You know, everyone needs a decent story, don't get me wrong, but the thing is, it's got a cross between and I don't mean to sound as how can I put this, as bad as I do, but it's almost like a cross between Katie Price doing Eurovision Making Your Mind Up in 2005 and Dana International doing Ding Dong in 2011.
Oh my word, he's gone there.
I'm sorry. The story's there, but if the story's there, but the story only works if the song is there as well.
Here's why you're wrong, Tom. I'm going to tell you you're wrong, and I'm going to cheer up Mitchell, who's now looking very sad. So here's the reason that Courtney Act is going to win in Australia and go on to win Eurovision. She came runner-up in season 6 of RuPaul's Drag Race, one of the most highly rated watched TV shows anywhere right now. It's hot. You can watch it in Australia, of course, the UK, Netherlands, Israel, Finland, Germany, Sweden, Hungary, even Ireland. Of course, you can watch it in Ireland. No, I said that. Virtually every Eurovision country shows RuPaul Drag Race, and we're into, you know, the sort of high 6-figure numbers of viewers, sometimes even millions of viewers for that show. I think there's a story to be told there. She's massively popular, great appeal, and I think this song, that we'll get to shortly, Fight for Love, has the potential. I'm not convinced it's quite there yet. I think there are tweaks to be made, but I think it has the potential to have the appeal to get Australia over the line and give them the win in Tel Aviv.
Good luck with that one. I'm sorry, I'm just not convinced. I think if there is a decent in actual fact, if there is a really good song there with a absolutely smashing vocal, then she's gonna probably come a very, very respectable second in the Australia Gold Coast thing, which no bad thing at all. Okay, but it won't be her that pushes Australia over the line. It'll be the decent song. The one thing she will do for Australia, though, is she will give Australia that additional exposure they so desperately need at the moment as well.
I think it's massive. I think you're underplaying it. Mitchell, bring you back in. What are your thoughts on Fight for Love?
I haven't heard this song yet. How did you hear the song? I didn't know the song.
See, I have my contacts. It's called Spotify. she released it last night. I'm not sure whether she was supposed to, but she said, "Oh, by the way, my song's available here. Go and listen to it." I think it's good.
Okay. Well, I have not listened to it yet, but yeah, I do think I'm one of the traditional vote for the song kind of votes. But yeah, definitely. The fact alone is that the gay community is going to get behind voting for Courtney Act. So you're either going to see a second or first here. I do have to say, I'm going to play devil's advocate only just to put everyone kind of in a realistic spot. But when it comes to Eurovision, they say maybe the audience is 50% LGBTQI plus community. Then you've got in Eastern Europe a lot of the complete opposite kind of people watching Eurovision. So as you can see with Conchita, it was pretty close when it became to winning, and that was because of the votes in places like Russia and in Eastern European countries. So she would have to fight a little bit hard for it, but yeah, definitely could be a front runner for sure.
Well, I think it's a front runner. Yeah. So you for those that haven't listened to it, go and listen to it on Spotify and iTunes. It's available now. Fight for Love, and you tell us. Write some nice or even nasty comments on our posts on our podcast, and just tell us what you think of the song. You can be as honest as you like. Joanne, coming to you. You've heard the song. What do you make of Fight for Love?
Don't like it at all. I've listened to it 3-4 times now. The first time I thought it'll get better. I'll listen to it again. And by the third time, I literally switched off after 30 seconds and decided I was really bored. And I feel really awful because I love Australia and I love her, but yeah, I was disappointed. And I'm really hoping that they give that Shepherd have an amazing song and just clear it and win. Because I'm loving them. So yeah, I feel really sorry for her. Really, should have been a better song.
Well, I'll tell you what they could do, because Mitchell will probably pick up on this point. Is given that they stole the UK's name for Eurovision national selections and the logo. Maybe they'll take a leap of faith in the UK idea and taking a song, an average song, and upgrading it several notches and taking it to Eurovision, which is what we've done with Lucy's song and tried to do with Suri as well. So maybe they'll do that. I certainly think there's a basis there of a very good song. I'm wondering if this song idea is.
I wonder if this song idea is going to crumble and fall because, like I was saying last week, it's an open audition. So people have actually submitted songs and then they're going to be matched to an artist. I had a feeling maybe some people like Shepherd or Kate Miller-Heidke might add on a little bit that's going to be like their flair. But it could crumble and fall and they'll all be like, do I have to sing this song? So I'm not sure.
Do you know, that's a really interesting point, actually, Mitchell. This feels to me like this song has been hand-picked for Courtney Act.
Really?
It feels to me like it's already been pre-planned. That was her song.
Well, they had an audition. I think that they have to actually follow suit with that contest. Right. So it's definitely been submitted in. I'm not sure if they're going to pick DNA submitted a song, and then we're like, oh great, we've got like these well-known songwriters. But I'm hoping that actual people have handed in songs.
So. Mitchell, back with yourself in terms of the 7 acts so far. So, we talked about the 4 last week. So we got Shepherd, we got Tim Vincent, Electric Fields, and Kate Miller-Heidke. Now we add on the 3 that were announced in the last 24 hours. Who for you is looking like? Have we got a clear favourite? Can we say that? Have we got a clear favourite out of the 7 so far, or are we finding the pack is starting to sort of close in?
Well, I put some videos of snippets of people's songs, past songs on Facebook a few days ago, and Shepherd has the most views out of that. So, yeah, I don't know. I think Shepherd might be the front runner at the moment, but this Courtney Act has really helped become a front runner as well. Like I said, the LGBTQI plus community is just going crazy at the moment. I think all over the world with that. But we'll have 3 more artists revealed. I think we're going to have 1 really big name revealed out of that. It'll be really interesting to see who they've left to the end.
Is that insider knowledge?
No, I'm just kind of going with the fact that they did 3 this time with one big one, and I think they're going to wait. They're going to at least have one really big one left, so they're going to end with a bang.
I agree with that. That's exactly what I was sitting here thinking as I've been talking, you've been talking, Mitchell. I think that there is still at least one big name still to come, because otherwise, why would you go with Courtney Act with your middle announcement?
Yeah.
Good point, actually. Maybe they'll do 2 as the next one and then come in with one final one to close the 10 off. Yeah, it's interesting. Interesting. Tom, what are you, out of the 7, what are you most looking forward to seeing?
Shepherd at the moment. That is the one that I'm really looking forward to. I think there's going to be a lot of energy behind that act, and I think it's going to be interesting to see. But I'm also, quite anticipating these other 3 acts as well, because let's face it, if they're going to shake things up as much as the last 3 have, then we could be in for a really, really interesting show in February. Really interesting.
And same to you, Joe. What's your what act are you most looking forward to seeing?
Oh, definitely Shepherd. 100%. I love their music. I love their vibe. And I'm still singing things in my head now. So yeah, I do think they're gonna do really well.
And do you know what? There's a load of excitement with this national selection. I don't remember a national selection from any country where there's been so much anticipation leading up to every announcement. Do you think other countries should take a look at Australia and what they're doing and think that this might very well be the route we should take in 2019 or beyond?
Beyond, absolutely. I think that why isn't this anticipation around the UK? What a surprise! We that's what we need. The country seems to be behind it. The whole fandom is behind it in different countries. It should happen all the time, and it happens in Sweden. Let's face it. It happens in Belfast. Why can't it happen in the UK? And good luck to Australia. They want to win it, and I also agree. I think there's a massive name going to be at the end.
And Tom, do you sort of think, given that we're hearing about Australia and Asia Vision at the end of next year, do you think there is a real interest in winning Eurovision in May in preparation for hosting the first ever Asia Vision Song Contest? Do you think the 2 are linked?
Oh, I think they are definitely very, very interested in winning it. I mean, especially given the fact they were robbed with Danny Im, to be fair, a couple of years ago. However, I think they are also going to come up against some pretty tough competition, because I think Russia are also prepared to throw the kitchen sink at it after they also lost out the same year that Danny Im lost out. And so I think, could we be looking at another Australia-Russia runoff? Quite possibly. Could there be a third country waiting in the wings to sneak forward on them? It's something that both countries are going to have to be very aware of, even at this stage.
Watch out for Sweden.
That's your tip of the year already.
Yeah, I've got this hunch. We Stockholm is maybe looming in 2020. I hope it's Sydney. I could. I know they talk about Germany or the UK hosting, but I would be delighted to entertain a 24 27 hour flight. I can't remember which it is to Sydney. It'd be wonderful. It'd be wonderful.
Do you want the contest to be on at 3 a.m. or whatever?
Well, won't matter to us, will it? Oh, no, I suppose it would. Yeah.
Yeah. If you were here, everyone would be partying at 4 a.m. The singers would be like, "I have no voice."
Or maybe back home, back in Europe, it'll be on at a crazy time, and then actually in Sydney it'll be on at a fine time, so we won't care.
Yeah, maybe.
So final point, we're coming up to the half-hour mark. We said it'd be a short show. Mitchell, sort of 7 songs in or 7 entries in. How's it shaping up? Are you excited by what you're seeing? Are you confident that Australia are going to get a good result come May?
Yeah, it's great. I'm a very humble person this year, and I think our biggest goal, no matter what after this, is that we have to win over the televote. I think our aim is the televote. I think maybe a group like Shepherd, I think, could do a good job. We've got to find someone that doesn't seem so Sweden in a way, like so polished and ready to go. We have to go a little bit less produced this time in order to kind of show off that we're humble people and win over the televote. I think that's our biggest aim. But the list of people, it's going to be a great national selection. So excited.
Yeah, I think the key word is unique. Be unique, and unique does well at Eurovision. Generic never fares well. And back to Tom's earlier point, you know, Ding a Dong's a good example of that. Just because you got a name doesn't guarantee your success. And and unfortunately, Vidana International, she learned that the hard way. Ding a Dong was poor as a song, really. She's not a poor singer.
Me.
So look, thanks very much to my guests for joining ourselves. Thank you to Mitch all the way from Sydney.
Thanks everyone. Bye.
Mitch, do you want to just quickly plug your YouTube channel?
Yeah, I do MJT reviews, and you can find it on YouTube. I just do videos where I review the entries closer to the contest as well, so check it out. And
thank you to Tom.
See you later, guys. Merry Christmas.
Yes, Merry Christmas. And finally, Joanne.
Hey, see you soon, guys. Have a wonderful Christmas and a great thickness as well.
Yes.
And thank you for joining us. Yeah, we thought this was not, well, we thought last week was the last show of the year. It turns out it's this week. Thank you for all your support. Don't forget to click the like button on the link. Thank you for watching the show. Download us on iTunes and Spotify as a podcast, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter and follow us on Instagram. Really appreciate it. Have a great Christmas and New Year. See you in 2019. Bye for now.